Hi, my name is Gray Brennan, and this is the Gray Closet. Hi, lovely people. I hope you all are doing well. So, today we're going to discuss this fabulous coat that I made. And this is actually the third take because I kept taking pictures and I didn't understand like what is going on. And then I realized, oh, I need to switch to video mode. So, yeah, this is my third take. So, let's get right into it. So this was my first true attempt at draping. So I'm preparing my fabric, cutting it accordingly. So I'm cutting a front, side, and back, and everything is measured on the grain, and also the waistline, and any other significant, marks of demarcation, like for example the bust, or at the back shoulder where the scapula will be. So that's how you basically, create your draping situation, because you really do need it to be on the grain line. As someone who has, I'm pretty good with like flat patterning, and draping is like my first attempt, and I will say that this is a very time consuming process. This footage that I we end up having here, right? I think it's probably a minute or so, but this took an hour to do because of specifically the collar. The collar um took a while because getting it right is very, very important because it can make or break the coat. But relatively, everything else was rather straightforward. I followed a YouTuber on here, and then I just kind of like went like detoured and did my own thing. But to start off, I followed a YouTuber. I forget his name, but he's a Japanese draping YouTuber. So that's what I did. And it was very, very clear instructions. And that's what I like about it. And I really want to like spend some time draping a lot more. And specifically when it comes to the Met Gala, I keep talking about it, but like it's really something I'm excited for. But the Met Gala dress, um, it's probably gonna be entirely draped. Update. So, for the most part, everything perfect. And I'm really happy that it was just one drape, one markup, and everything came out exactly the way I wanted it to. I'll show you everything once, I'll give you a closer look. The only alteration is that the shoulder seam needs to be moved forward by maybe 0.25 inches. I was thinking about it. I was toying with the idea. Do I want a two-piece sleeve? We're definitely doing a two-piece sleeve because when I tried this on yesterday after draping it, you know why it is that coats and blazers need to have, because of how your arm actually sits naturally, it's that curve. You need to have a two-piece sleeve, and I was thinking about adding godets. I'll show you to the seams that I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna do that because the way that it's gonna flare, if I really want that kind of sort of like almost um what is the nanny, not the British lady, Amy Blunt. No, Amy. Yeah, Emily Blunt played the character. Very famous. Um, Her Mary Poppins, yeah, that kind of sort of Mary Poppins kind of sort of fantasy, right? If I really want that, I would need to make more panels. I feel like that would like result in a better shaped um coat than if I added like Go Days. Go Days will just ruin what I currently have right now, so I'm not doing that. And then what else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah, that's about it. The collar is exactly the way that I imagined it. It's perfect. I'll let me just show you. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, so when it comes to this is how it looks like, right? This is it, right? Great. And also here, I need to make an alteration to this. This needs to be longer, and because the side panel it was like a little bit longer, I just yeah, when I was extending it, it was a bit longer. But everything else needs to be fine. And here, this is fine. I was worried about the dot. It's okay. It sits well on my body. Um, when it's pressed with like an actually sturdy fabric, it's gonna be okay. And then the back, that's what I'm talking about. If I were to go ahead and do the coat similar to Mary Poppins, I would have to like basically make like panels here and then flare everything out, at the bottom. That's the only way that I'll be able to do that. Which, yeah, that's a choice. That's definitely a choice, but I'm not gonna do that. But for the most part, everything is exactly the way I need it to be, and I am happy. So we're just going to draft the lining, make the alterations, cut the fabric, and then we're gonna sew everything together today, and then I'll show you the rest of that. So, this is the fabric I am working with. This, and this is like this is when it's gathered, and this is when I do like a clouding thing. I'm definitely gonna go with this because it gives me more versatility. But this is the fabric for the actual coat, and now I'm wondering, should I pair it with this, and that? You know, I'm thinking about it. These three, or should I use this? But I'm trying to think, or maybe I'm trying to see which one works. Outfit appreciation, period. But anyway, I'm not sure, hey? I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe I should remove this and then keep these three. I don't know. I don't, I've decided I'm gonna go with one of these two, but it's either I'm gonna go with this or that. I'm not gonna mix colors, it looks weird. I can see how this would look like. I think I want to go with this. I mean, this fabric. I wanted to use it for lining, but girl, I'm not gonna be able to breathe. Like, no. This coat was inspired by Raven Simonier because you gotta get it right? Raven, because I used to watch That's So Raven as a kid, and when I would watch it, she always looked fabulous, number one, but also she had this coat with fur on the lapel cuffs, and she had a couple of them. And I was always like, and that was very like early, like late 90s, early 2000s aesthetic. And a lot of the girls had that. And I wanted something like that. And I was like, okay, how are we going to do this, right? Because I've said this before, I'm gonna say it again. South Africa is very difficult to get the kind of sort of color that you want when it comes to fabric, or exactly what you want when it comes to fabric. So you really gotta like think outside of the box. So I looked for fur, not an option. I could not find like a color close to this fuchsia, or like there was also like I was contemplating like a deep purple, like a very deep, like a mauvish purple. I think, yeah, I was contemplating that, but I could not find like anything. There were other things, but they were just not gonna work, and I just would not settle.
Uh,
They,
what? Are you wearing two hats?
there are so many pieces to this. Like, I'm gonna interface all of this. I didn't want to block interface, and thank goodness I didn't. Hey, I wouldn't have had enough interfacing. I'm gonna show you like how I interfaced everything, but oh my gosh, this has been wow. I am like trying to get like my pressed seams, and the hem line. This is a hemline crisp. I'm using a weight because in my mind I'm like I couldn't find anything else. I really did try to like look for something, and I couldn't find anything else. So I decided, let me use this instead. Yeah. And it really does give that crisp situation. Oopsie. It, like it gives a very crisp situation. Yeah, that will do it. So at this point, everything is set. All my fabric pieces are cut. Everything is interface fused accordingly. All facing pieces and all the hems and edges have been interfaced, and all my necessary stability fabrics are set. And then my sewing space has also been prepared so that I can just work more efficiently, and I'm getting better and better at this. The shell fabric and the lining I've had for about 2.5 years now. And in that 2.5 years, it's 5 meters, 3 meters with the lining. And let me tell you something right now. It was not enough. Specifically for the shell fabric, it was not enough. I ended up having to do some like MacGyvering to be able to, like, specifically with the facing pieces, to be able to make it fit, like, the pieces to come together. But yeah, it eventually it worked out really well. But yeah, it was not enough, and I could not like find more fabric because this they don't have this in stock anymore. The back is made up of 4 panels, so I attached usually you'd attach like some sort of canvas, but I went with like a faux leather piece for stability so that it doesn't cave in. Make sure to attach the slippery leathery part, facing the other way, so that you don't need like a leather presser foot to be able to do it. But then I went ahead and I cut open because they are dots, but because of bulk, I did not want to create a dot, so I just cut it. I cut out that dot, and then I zigzagged, stitched them closed. I wanna like play like the live audio for this, but I can't because copyright. I am literally blasting, I believe, Florence. So you will attach the side seams to the back once you have attached that stabilizer. To be clear, the side seam, it is the back side seam. So there's a front side seam and a back side seam because there's a side piece to this. So, yeah. So I ended up settling for this mesh fabric. It's like a stretchy mesh. It's not a power mesh. It has these very, very pretty like stripes on there. They are embroidered stripes. So it's very like it provides that like other like sheen, shininess to it that you see going on here. It's that. So yeah, so I decided I was gonna do that, and I was like, cool, sharp. That's what we're doing. Because I was at this point had run out of fabric. So from the scraps, I took a piece, a janky one, might I add, and another one. Luckily I had something long enough to be able to make the loops for the belt and the belt itself interfaced, of course. I believe, did I double interface the belt? No, I just interfaced it once with fusible interfacing, and I folded it at the top, the belt, and then I stitched it, flipped it inside out, and then I top stitched all around to like create like a triangular situation. This seems very violent, but I'm literally fighting to get that um, thing turned because it was so stubborn. Once I got to the halfway point, because I first had to like use my teeth, I just started banging it until physics. And then after that, I went on with the design process, the draping process, which was so easy. Like draping is so much easier than like flat pat, like making a pattern. And long time ago, that's what I would have done. I would have and it takes, oh my gosh, like it's so tedious. Like draping is so easy, and you really get lost in the process. It's very like a very cathartic experience. And a thing that I've learned from this entire process is that with art, you have to allow a level of stillness, and you have to allow a level of like slowness in your work, And I think that's the most craziest thing. Like one of the reasons why like I'm a particularly interested in like having a collection or being a fashion designer in that sense. I'm interested in like being a if there's anything, that I would want to do in life is to be like a couturier. I mean, just like as a side, like it's not what I want to do, but like I'm just saying as like a side like adventure, I would definitely do that because I find that more interesting. But like being expected to produce like so many collections in a year, like 4, 5, 6 like collections in a year is insane to me. It's crazy. It's crazy, and I feel like beauty is found in moments where it's like I've always said this, that most artists have musicians have at most like 4 artists. I mean, no, at most 2 good albums in them. Like two. Most people don't have more than 2 good albums in them. And then great artists, I mean, good, like very good artists have 4 albums in them. And then great artists can push maybe 6. But for the most part, even 6 is too much. What are you do? Like, no one is living a life that's that full. Do you understand what I'm saying? So even with like art, there's only so much you can make. And that's the point. You shouldn't force it. You shouldn't force yourself to create and like churn out like you're a machine. Allow yourself to have moments where you just sit back and be like, there's nothing, and that's okay. Or even if there's nothing, there's something, but this is going to take a while. It's going to take, that movie, the one that was shot like in 20 years or something like that, and I think it's like 3 different like parts or something. Yeah, sometimes you gotta just allow the time, be slow about it, allow that like slow process and just sit in the bottom of it, because there's so much beauty in that. And that's what I'm learning with this, is that for me, sewing is like Lexapro. It literally calms me in a way that
nothing has, and it's not just sewing but being an artist. This is why I'm fighting tooth and nail to, you know, never go back to like corporate or just anything else, because I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to spend my time being anything else. I'd rather, like, honestly speaking, exit this for let me stop. Let me stop. No, but like seriously, like I there's no point. And you know, you'd hear, like, I remember when I was young, I would hear actors saying stuff like that. They're like, you know, there's nothing else. I don't have it. They're not lying. I really get it. I've tried, you know, to do other things, but it just doesn't. It's not the same. And I'm so happy that I'm at a point where I'm so like centered in my, you know, creative prowess that I'm just like really in it.
Now I'm attaching the canvas to the lapel, getting ready to pad stitch, which in this case I did not actually like use, my hands. I used the machine, which I have a rant about that. Stitching for a moment, right? I've done hand pad stitching and all of that, and this is like a rough, outline of the roll line, because I'll be very honest, I'm not 100% sure the roll line is gonna sit on this, because of what I'm going to do with all of this, and the markup did not have the tool and everything. I'll see it after the fact, but it's not the end of the world. The point I'm trying to make is it's definitely going to be around here, but the point I'm trying to make is this: I want a machine pad stitch because honestly, why not? But the thing is, with everything I'm learning about machine pad stitching, which is something I've always thought about and it doesn't make sense to me, is that people pad stitch going straight, like up, down, like this way when they are pad stitching, specifically machine pad stitching. And that doesn't make sense, because if you actually, when you hand pad stitch, the actual stitch that does the work is the bite underneath. Because as you are catching on some, like, because you will put in, like, you will pick up a little bit of fabric from the back, and then you will come out across, then it's going to do like a horizontal thing, right? But the stitch underneath is really doing most of the work. If you really pay attention, it's doing the work to shape at the direction you want it to be. So I'm thinking to myself, why would I do, and when you're doing a machine stitch, right, why would I do it this way when I, like, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't, unless you just want the two things to be, put together. For me, looking at this, I really want to go like that, you know, like work it in this way. That's what makes the most sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to, because even when you shape it, when the thread shrinks, when you're like pressing and stuff, it's gonna shrink in the way of in the direction of the thread. So if your thread is this way, it's gonna shrink this way. If your thread is this way, it's gonna shrink that way. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope this makes sense, but I'm gonna go with that. And yeah, so I'm gonna start off like, straight like that, and then as I come out of the back collar and I actually get into the collar, it's gonna be more horizontal, and then it's gonna end more vertical as we get to the end, right? Because that, it really doesn't make any sense to me, I'm not gonna lie. But that's what I'm gonna do with my pad stitching, because I'm not gonna do this by hand. I don't have the time. I was right. Stitching it this way makes sense, because even look at that. Look at it. And the thing I like about it is it's gonna give you an opportunity to like figure out the roll line later. You don't have to commit to one as you are drafting. You can have a general idea of where it could be, and then you could just do it later. Because I have been thinking about this for literally years, and I don't know if it's like, I think no, I checked. I checked about the machine stitching thing. Everyone like does horizontal, vertical from the roll line, and it never made sense to me, because let's say the roll line was this way. Do you see how that like? Do you see how that is? It doesn't make sense. This makes sense. So I am getting my dots together for my front piece. So I have a princess dot and I have a bust dot. So both of them, I'm just getting them sorted. Now, with tailored jackets, right, you're supposed to have some sort of like Milton wadding situation like by the chest. So I used like what I had, which was a quilted um, fabric that I actually was for a bag that I was making. And so I attached that. It had the right thickness and it really does like sit perfectly on my chest to kind of sort of like fill out that hollowness that happens between the shoulder pad and the dot, and especially if you've got boobs. Yeah. So it's really necessary. So now I'm just like felling it down. Is it felling? Yeah, it's felling. And none of these stitches, plus the point, that is the point, show on the other side. So I'm like attaching it to the canvas, and it's also attached to the fusible interfacing. So now we are going to attach the front to the back of the shell. Now we are attaching the front, where the lapel sits, and we will also be attaching the back of the lapel, and then we will be attaching the collar line and the shoulder line to the back, matching everything. This is where we are at. I haven't pressed anything yet, but I haven't pressed like these seams. I only pressed the back. So this is where we're at. I'm still gonna like shape this, but yeah, okay, yeah, you know, it's the way I need it to sit. There's gonna be a lot of pressing, a lot of pressing. I'm gonna do the sleeves now, and then we're gonna start with the lining. And now it's time for the sleeves. So I'm attaching my two-piece sleeves. Even though this is the same piece, I don't know, I'm only just showing the same piece. And now we are also going to work on the lining. So we're attaching the back of the lining first, and then we're going to attach the facing of the lining. Make sure that, like I had said earlier, everything is fused.
So the most difficult part of this entire process, because the first time I made a coat, I struggled with the welt pockets, the hem, because that your thing is supposed to fold at the bottom. So, oh, you didn't see that because angles. Anyway, your hem is supposed to like fold to create like a little tiny pleat, and also the pleat at the back. There's like there's a lot of tiny things like the type of shoulder pad that you use, the back, and I watched a lot of Lydia Naomi's video because that was the first video that I watched that. And if like I love sewing YouTube because if she was the first one to really give a comprehensive like tutorial on how to make a coat. All other girls came up after her. She was the first girl. I remember it very vividly when she dropped that code video. Honey. Anyway, like there's so many like moments in sewing world to YouTube where I remember specifically somebody did something or figured like I think Kim Davis, I believe it was her. Kim Davis is the one who figured out like a very nice way at the time. There's many more now, but like how to sew a fly zipper. Like way back when she was the only person who had the video. We learned from these people, but anyway. So yeah, I watched a lot of like Lydia Naomi's video to be able to do this. But like I'd watched it so many times. I've watched the video so many times over the years, and I like watching it because it's so like watching, and I want to be able to have a sewing room like that in the future, like where I can just literally just sit and everything is in reach, and it's just and I want there's so many things that I want. But yeah, I watched her video and it like helped me understand what it is that I need to do. And I watched that, and I also watched I forget, some Japanese draper online, which he has like 12,000 subscribers, which is crazy to me. He should be like 100 and something thousand, because his videos are so excellent. It's not The Modelist. There's another. I think The Modelist is Korean. I think, or is it Japanese? Is he also Japanese? I don't know. But the other one is definitely Japanese. Yeah, and. Yeah, like it's so amazing. So I watched that to be able to, do this.
The bubble, and it is kind of like, yeah, I forget. I work with a bunch of white men, so I
Well, don't talk about them, because white men get scared because they dick little. Sometimes they
feel like I'm in my 30s.
So why are you single?
So now we are setting the pleat at the back, the pleat that is necessary, so that when you basically every sort of pleat and extra fabric that you're adding to your lining is just so that when you put your sleeves in, or rather your arm through your sleeves, it doesn't like pull up, there's enough fabric. So that's what we were prepping, so that we can add our facing piece, which we have, and then we're gonna clip, and then we will press, because that's what we do. Most of what you're gonna do is just pressing. So you basically just stitch it the same way that you did with the shell. In like the facing, I haven't stitched it or anything. I was just trying to like mark the placement for the tulle. So it's gonna stop right about here, and then it's gonna be tulle everywhere, like all over here. There's gonna be tulle. Oh, this coat is gonna eat. You know what this reminds me of? I'll tell you. Okay, so these are my sleeves, and that's the shell, right? The hem, and then this is the lapel area. So everything is marked for me to start like adding the tulle, like all over there. I just needed like interfacing. I ran out of the white, so I ended up using the black, but the black, you know what? It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. And then what else? So now I have to cut the tulle. I'm gonna cut it into like 1-inch strips, and then fold it, then I will gather in the middle, which will make it 0.5 inches. And then I need to cut like probably 100 of those. And then I'll start making vertical lines. Okay, like horizontal lines. And then there it will be vertical because it will fold and it will become horizontal. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do now, which is probably gonna take like 4 hours. And then we're gonna put everything together. But let's start
with the cutation of the situation. I'm not gonna show that because it's gonna be very messy, to be honest. I'm gonna show you when I'm ruffling it though. So I went with this fabric. It's not tulle. It was really cheap. It was on sale, right? They were like getting rid of it. And I got like 10 meters of it. I was gonna get tulle, but I felt like this would give such an interesting texture. And it's like a netting fabric of some sort, but it's definitely not tulle. So I'm gonna cut this into strips. You know what's annoying? Is that the horizontal stripes are actually vertical, which is annoying. I wish they were actually horizontal. It will make my life so much easier when it comes to cutting. But anyway, yeah. Okay, I cut about 5 meters of the 10 meters. This took like 50 minutes. So it's time to gather all of this. This is my gathering foot. This is what we're gonna use. Just quickly take this out. I think it's gonna take me probably an hour, maybe 2 hours, to do. I've already gone through 2 spools with this entire project. I'm on my 3rd one. I think this is gonna definitely take up like a little bit more. We're not gonna use that for a while. Now, the tension is good. It should be. And we're gonna just, this machine, that's the best we can do. Okay. Let's start, girlies, because it's gonna be a long situation. Because I actually do want it to be on the wrong side. Okay. Oh, it's very extra. It's a bit much, don't you think? Why are they moving? This is what we're gonna be doing. This is it. Okay, I'm done. This is the ruffle. That took, it's 11 p.m. I started at like 9:30. It is 11. It is 11, quarter past 11. So yeah, it took however long that was. So yeah, now I'm just gonna like do a couple of rows on the jacket. I'm gonna do like a couple of rows on this here, and then I'll see, like, just get the vibe of it, and then I'm gonna go eat and do other stuff. And then at midnight, or like maybe at like 12:30, I'll lock in and then just finish up. It's probably gonna take me like until I'll go to sleep at 3. Hopefully I will be done
I doubt it, but we'll see. Sorry it's dark, but this is how the coat is turning out. Honey! I literally just woke up. Fine, it was like an hour and 30 minutes ago. But like I woke up and I did this part. I'm just gonna do this part in the cuffs. And then we are going to put everything together. Oh my gosh, I really want to be done. It's 11 a.m. now. I would like to be done by like 2 a.m. I mean by 2 p.m. I want to be done. But honey, she's coming together. I haven't even brushed my teeth, honey. I just woke up and I was like, okay, let's log in. Like, look at that. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Ah! Woo! I'm so happy. I was not gonna take any videos for the welt pocket, but you know, I'm like, okay, then let's just do it because putting in the first one, the inside pocket was crazy. So I'm just gonna put in this. This thing is hella heavy, hey? Like, damn, this is heavy. Okay. I've been dreading doing this. You have no idea. Like, oh, me and the welt have got a very. I was gonna say something else. That's not what that means. We have a very interesting history, a very tumultuous history. So let's get into it. Okay, let's do this. Come on. Okay, marked everything because I made a mistake when I was putting in. Just wanna also pin. Yeah. Just to be on the safe side, pin this down because as you can see, it's a lot. Once I've got like coin dollar, I want to have a dream sewing room. All the girls, you know what? You know we all have our dream sewing rooms. Okay, this is it. Let me just double check something. It's supposed to be finish. This is what I'm doing. Okay, so this is where we're going. Because when you use a pen or something, yeah, okay. Starting right here. Okay. There's no going back now. Okay, let's do this. Come on. This hour. And like, a part of me, honestly, I felt like, why did you make pockets outside? But you know, you have to. Okay, that's done. Okay, it's done. I don't know where my scissor is. It's supposed to be all the way there. And I left it up. And this. I'm scared. I'm so scared. I'm scared.
I'm scared. I'm scared. Okay. Because I kept clipping all the way to here. Ugh. It's like in the inside wall pocket, that's the mistake that I made, and I was like, oh, it's not like it's a piece I can cut again. It's fine though. I kind of sort of like figured a way around it. I've made that mistake enough over the years that, you know, I know how to like get around it. Okay. Okay. I want to edit this video once I'm done now so that tomorrow I can. I keep saying, and one thing that's going to be very consistent within these videos is me saying, so that tomorrow I can shoot the reveal. Tomorrow never comes, girl. I need to do something about this table because, honey, you see here it's already at 0.5 here. So I just need to like, from right here, clip all the way. I don't know if you can see this. Oh my god. All the way to the corner. God, I need to get new. Like, my handheld scissors are trash. Mama. Anyway, the other side. So I'm gonna cry if I make a mistake. Oh my god, this looks so pretty. Everything looks really well. So now, let's not make the same mistake that we made. Okay, let's clip in. God. Guys, I wanna cry. I think I made a mistake. I don't know, like the scissors broke at the tip, so you see, can you see them? They broke, and I remember I was thinking to myself, just buy other ones. And I was like, no, I'm gonna buy them, like, you know, and I don't leave the house that much, so, oh, okay. Okay, girls, this is like, it's working, girls, it's working. We need to go in a little bit further. See, it's creating a bubble there, which means I didn't cut all the way. I'm scared. Let's use the other scissor. Walk. I'm feeling fine. I'm living for that song. I've listened to it probably 50 times. Runway by Gaga and Doechii, with a side of Bruno Mars. Okay, let's go press. Okay, I am about to put in the sleeves, right? But I just wanted to say, can we appreciate the construction? Like, the organs that go into like a proper coat. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like I am so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself because this is like, wow. I did that. Like, ah, like I'm putting the sleeves, and then I'm going to put in like the sleeves for the like put the facing. Fine. Let me show you. So this is the facing piece, right? This is the facing piece. I need to like put in the dot for this, and something we had a conversation about this. I think about why it looks the way that it does. It was I did not have fabric, so I had to like do it the old way, right? Anyway, So I just need to put a dot and something else, and then yeah, it's just a dot. I have two dots. These two dots. I need to put them there, and then I will put the sleeves, like the shell and the lining together tomorrow. I just want to like do those three things because it's literally, and then I'm gonna spend the rest of the evening pressing this, pressing that, because pressing is a very tedious process. It takes out like and when I say it can take an hour or more, it really can. It's not an exaggeration. Like people think that you're exaggerating. No, like when you're pressing so many different seams, because I pressed the seams, but like you need to go back in. You need to go back in. So I'm just gonna put in the sleeves. Once I put in the sleeves, I'm gonna do the facing dots, put the facing to the lining, and then yeah, and then I'm done for the evening, and then I'm gonna like put my room together. Okay, because I need to study tonight, and then tomorrow the review. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll do it. So yeah. I don't know, should this be the last video? And then reveal. Let me think. Should this be the last like piece of footage I'm gonna take? I mean, yeah. I don't see what else. Like everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Like the lining and this is the same. Yeah, I will. No, it's not. I will show you putting this together tomorrow. So that's what you're gonna see. Now, I want to talk about Lady Gaga quickly. I know this is about to sound crazy, and I'm not superstitious, and I'm not somebody that believes in like, oh, the stars align or something like that. We're in a rock in the middle of nowhere. We're not that special. You know what I mean? Like, I'm that kind of person. Yes, there's another perspective to it. Like, oh my God, the chances of you being alive, there are many perspectives to this. But I will say this. When it comes to Lady Gaga, her life, or rather the like her artistic choices have influenced me in a way, not just like in a way that, oh my gosh, she inspires me, but like every single time I've somewhat like leaned into like being inspired by her, or being in the fandom or whatever, it's like it's always yielded something great for me. I think about like Born This Way came out exactly when I was like heavily getting bullied at school. And it was just perfect. I remember thinking to myself, wow, this album really came out at the perfect time because I really needed to hear this. And I think about Joanne, she was going through this transition phase in her life. And so was I. I had just finished high school. And Joanne came out at the perfect time. And we're both trying to find ourselves. And we're both, trying to reinvent. And then Chromatica came out like during, the world situation. I don't know if I can say that here, but you know what I mean? During 2020. And at that time, same thing, like the way that she was depressed during that era. Twin. And again, I remember when the Mayhem came out, like you don't understand like how the perfect timing of Disease in my life. I'm so gagged at when that, like, it came out a couple of days just after my birthday. And like I remember thinking to myself, this is crazy, and it was exactly what I needed to hear. Abracadabra. And then I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna go to the Mayhem Ball. And I really wanted to just go see Gaga, and I wanted to go to Berlin. And then I ended up going to Australia because that was the tickets that I could get. It was just very random. And I was like, whatever place. I was like, literally, I checked Switzerland. I checked so many different places, and I just got Australia. And it was Brisbane. And I was like, Brisbane? I only know Sydney. And then now to think about, like, I'm building, like, the way that I fell in love with Australia in the 2 weeks that I was there, I am, like, planning on, like, eventually moving there. Because, and in my mind, I'm like, damn, Lady Gaga, you did it again. Like, somehow, like, the way that she influences my life, like, even to me being the person that I am today, it's because of her. Like, I remember watching the Paparazzi music video and I cried because I'd never seen anyone, like, put their full click into something like that. And I was like, this is beautiful. And the thing is, I cannot explain to you, when I was a child, I'd always like found it so weird why people don't look like the way that people look like in movies and TV shows. And yes, I understand now as an adult, but like I'd always wanted like an artist that really committed like that, that you're the way that you look like in your music videos, you must be like the day to day. Everyone, when you see them on the day to day, it was very disappointing. And then I saw her, like, she inspired me. Like, I wouldn't be an artist today if it wasn't for her, because I was the girl. And I said this while I was like, getting ready. The Devil Wears Prada is also a very significant movie because when they were reading Andy down, when Miranda was reading Andy down, she was also reading me down, because that monologue, I remember feeling so stupid because I was the kind of girl like, what are you talking about? Like, fashion? What? That's so stupid. Like, that is, you know, I was just like, no, you need to do science. You need to like, I remember finishing that movie and immediately I was like, made my friends play like editor in chief. We played and there was another TV show in South Africa that was playing. It was Ugly Betty, and also there was another TV show that was playing that was like a British TV show that played on SABC3, and it was like basically a knockoff of The Devil Wears Prada. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, this is my fantasy. Like, I respected fashion ever since I watched The Devil Wears Prada. So I'm really excited for this movie. And then Gaga's also in the movie. And then to make matters worse, Gaga is also like collaborating with Doechii. And never mind, I'm like, I've loved Doechii way back when. I remember like years ago, I was like, Gaga needs to work with Doechii. Like when Persuasion came out, I was like, this, like I could see it. I could see that, like, I know when an artist is a little monster. I can see it. I can see that you get it. And Doechii is that girl. And I remember like Doja Cat, I really hope one day collaborates with Gaga because, and also, I remember like Florence and the Machine way back when. I remember before Joanne came out, I was like, Gaga's gonna collaborate with Florence and the Machine. Don't say I didn't tell you. I just felt it. I just felt like I know she would like Florence. And she does. Girl. Anyway, yeah, so that woman is like a very, very important figure in my life. Sometimes I'm kind of sort of gagged at it. That's why I can never really like be angry at her fully, because she really is very significant in my life, like very significant. And it's crazy because I've never met her. I don't know that woman. I don't know her, but it's insane. It's insane.
Oh, God, those pins. Honey. It's okay. We will press it out. Oof, what was that? Oh, is it?
Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this recorded this time, otherwise I'm gonna cry. Anyway, yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and it was so much fun making this. And there is another pink thing that I'm gonna make next week. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have, and I really didn't realize that I was doing pink back to back to back. And this was the original thing, which is this actually the skirt was not supposed to be pink. It was supposed to be red. So it just so happened to be that it's pink. But the next thing is pink, and then we're actually not gonna do pink anymore. for a while. We're gonna pivot to some other colors. But yeah, there's 2 more videos before the Met Gala video, so stay tuned for that. And I'm haven't started. I'm supposed to start today, but I'm not. I'm gonna start like later in the week, and I'm gonna approach it a little bit differently. I'm gonna approach it from a place of I won't be literal, like making a statue or like a piece of. I will let the fashion itself be the art, and it might be subtle. It may not be as like artsy as maybe some people might feel. But as somebody who understands the beauty of the making process, that's where I'm gonna lean into. So on that note, thank you so much for watching The Grey Closet. Subscribe, comment, turn on those notification bells. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Grey Brennan, and also on TikTok and Instagram at The Grey Closet. Toodaloo. Oh, there's a new saying I want to say. Oh my God, I forgot. It's something about like serve fashion. Always serve fashion. I don't know. I forget. I'll put a voice over here. And don't forget to be forever stylish. That's what I said. That's what that's gonna be our closer. Bye.